Hello everyone, Sunton2, welcome to another config related video, this time on Winged, which you can obviously view via either mod menu, if you prefer, or via just the text file that you can find in configs, like so, under .minecraft config and so on. Would be doing this via mod menu though, to make things easier to switch between. So, you can change the actual damage of removing wings, which, if you remember, you obviously needed a dipped ceremonial knife to then get rid of your wings. So for example, we'll just put, say, this one on here. You can see we get our wings. We right-clicked to rip them off, and we took a bit of damage and then got a broken core of flight. And just a quick note as well, if you do actually take damage, then you'll keep the wings on you regardless of being a keep inventory. I forgot to mention that in the last video, but yeah. So obviously we took damage, and yeah, so we go back to mod menu. You can see we can change that. So if we don't want it to be as, harmful to us just to rip our rings off, then we can obviously change that to as low or as high as we want. Now, a player typically has 20 health, so it's obviously 2 halves and then 10 hearts, but yeah, if you want it to be that you take damage all the way when ripping off your wings, then you can do that. If you want it to be as minimal as possible, to say 1, you could change it to that as well. It's just a number change, of course. You've got Heart of the Sky, which allows you to change, obviously, the amount of time that it takes damage. So if you remember, the Heart of the Sky had it where, if you're in survival, it would have so many seconds that it lasts. So my guess is that it's obviously the durability or the rate that it's doing it. Let's see again though. Ticks per damage, so I'm guessing it's obviously the rate there. So it's 40 ticks per use that it's doing it. So just checking that how it does by default, and you can see how quick that is. So there's that. And if we just go back in, this will probably be a lot of back and forth. You've got loot tables to, and I assume enable, disable, or tweak certain aspects of where you'll find these. So you can have cores of flight generate in the abandoned mineshaft chests. You can generate broken ones, so if you don't want it to be broken ones, you could disable this and make it the same as end cities that you find these normally, and you can see that set to no. So if you want any of the overworld structures that you also have a chance of getting the core from to be set to no and have it work the same as end cities, you can easily do that. But by default, of course, they are enabled so that you get broken ones rather than it generating the fixed or regular. So that's those two options, of course. And you've got the chances of it generating, which is very, very low, which when I was trying to do in my first attempt of recording it, the last video, it seemed to be that I had no luck in any of them. I obviously only checked once, I didn't check that often, but even with the few chests I found, I couldn't find them. Then the chance is pretty much the same for the end city as well, so it's not that easy to find. We've got black feathers, which do drop from chickens. Okay, so I wasn't sure on that, so there's that. Only dropping if killed by a player, yep. And then chances of dropping is fairly low, as well as a looting multiplier. So there's that. So we'll just remove these, as we don't need to see the chances of these anymore. So black feathers do drop from chickens, so they're just another type of rare drop. Fried chicken, chickens on fire, so chickens regularly being defeated. Okay. But you can't convert them to other feathers, so I'm assuming you still get the regular drop. You've got zombies, or zombie-like creatures, so that'll be zombies, I assume maybe husks, zombie pigmen, or zombified pigments in 1.16, of course, as long as they're on fire, so then you can get demonic flesh. Otherwise, it only drops by the player, and that's the chance that you have of getting that in comparison to, say, chicken, which is the same. Seems to be the same across all of these. You've got the Irrality Crystal dropping from Enderman regularly. There's no other specific things like fire needed, because obviously Enderman wouldn't survive by fire, but you get the idea. There's no other specifics required. So there's chances there, which do differ in terms of dropping, and they are dropped if a player does it. You've got bat wings dropping from bats, and that's the chances there, again, enabling or disabling things. And you've got the Vex Essence dropping from just Vexes. You've got your chances there. So there's that. And you've got boosters, which obviously you can change the constant velocity, which means the velocity applying, so that's obviously us sort of increasing in elevation there, I assume. And by how much? You've got interpolated, which is... okay, so that's the higher friction values, and decreases interpolation. That's independent from it. Okay. And then if flying gets slippery. Okay, so you've got the ability to sort of tweak certain aspects when you're flying. Sorry, or when you're using these. Should we go to the others? There's other options as well. So my guess is those from when you're boosting, those from when it's to do with the actual durability of it, or elevation, or certain aspects. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, if you are familiar with this stuff, then you know what to tweak exactly to determine what factors manipulated for how sort of useful or how it won't be as beneficial, I guess. Yeah. Oh, and then there's the damage one as well. Okay, so there is a damage one besides the other factors that you can also change if you want it to be longer or shorter than usual. And obviously the stats vary depending on what their benefits were. So there's that. But otherwise, that's pretty much everything you can tweak with the mod. And that's all the default stats. Again, you can obviously tweak this stuff in the other file if you're not in-game, and enable, disable, or change out the numbers for those as well. But obviously doing it in mod menu gives you an idea of sort of, I assume, I don't think there's a definable limit to these. No, there wasn't. Yeah, so it just gives you like a better description there, rather than just looking at it through the file where you can only make out so much based on what you know about those factors, for example. Otherwise though, thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.